Hi guys, recently I purchased this used MP45. I took it to the range with a 100 round box of Winchester 230 grain full metal jackets. I fired all 100 rounds to the gun and I had 5 or 6 stem binds. As you can see in this picture, it looks like the bullet is just beginning to enter the chamber when everything came to a halt. In this close-up here, you can see what happened. It appears that a sharp corner of the extractor hook is gouging into the cartridge there, and you can see the bullet still hasn't even passed over, or is just beginning to pass over the firing pin. And I guess, when it's in this position here, the nose of the bullet is still pointing upward, and because of the ejector hook gouging and catching at the base of the bullet, it's not allowing the bullet to cam and teeter as the nose is pushed down as it's entering into the chamber. So it's just binding up there. So as a solution to the problem, I thought I would just round off that sharp corner of the ejector hook. But first I took some heavy-duty masking tape to mask off the surrounding area. Then I took a file, and with very light strokes, almost on a 45-degree angle, I started just filing away at that corner and shaping it where it wouldn't create as much friction and dig and gouge into the brass. After that, I took a stone, and kind of just honed away, kind of like smoothing out the edge even a little bit more, shaping it into a rounder 45-degree angle that won't catch on the brass. As you can see here, this is pretty much the finished product. That sharp edge is gone, kind of rounded off, and it looks like it should be good to go. In this view here, you can see the cartridge is actually just beginning to touch the ejector hook. And you can see that it's really not coming into contact with any sharp edges. But you could also notice along the bottom of the casing here, just above the rim, all the scuffing and scratching from the ejector hook before it was filed. I must have chambered this round, I don't know, 50, 60 times, trying to duplicate, the initial binding problem I had before. And you can see the beating that a cartridge does take, as it's going through the process of being chambered. Here's another view of the same bullet. I mean, you could see all along the length of the casing and even the nose of the bullet itself, as well as around the rim there. You could just see a lot of scuffing, where the bullet came in contact with different parts of the slide and the chamber and the ejector hook there. Bullets they come into quite a bit of friction, as they're being chambered. So it really does help to reduce as much friction, as you can, to cut down any binding. Another area that I thought could use a little bit of friction reduction was the feed ramp. In this close-up, you can see some mill marks stretching horizontally across the feed ramp. To eliminate this, I took some 600 sandpaper and wrapped it around a punch. And trying to maintain the same angle as the ramp, I just slid it back and forth, up and down the ramp, trying to maintain the same angle as the ramp. I continued to do this until it appeared that all the horizontal lines were gone. At that point, I took some 1000 sandpaper and again duplicated the same process, up and down the ramp, maintaining the same angle until the finish was even slicker. From that point, I moved up to a 2000 sandpaper. And again, the same process, back and forth, up and down the ramp, again, trying to maintain the same angle so I could accomplish the same slickness along the total length of the ramp. And when I achieved the finish that I wanted, that I was looking for, as you can see in this photograph, it's almost a mirror finish. And this really helps the bullet slide up that ramp a lot easier with less friction. And it also eliminates the amount of carbon buildup and deposits from the jacket of your bullet, depositing inside those little crevices, because over a period of time, it can build up. Another potential cause of stem bind can be the ammunition, and it may have been in my case. Now on the left, we have the Winchester Full Metal Jacket 230 grain bullet. In the center, we have the American Gunner Hornady 185 grain XTP, and on the right is the Federal HST in 230 grain. Now the Winchester on the left, if you notice above the rim there, you can see the brass looks quite a bit rougher, not quite as polished as the Hornady American Gunner in the center, and then also the Federal HST on the right there, which I believe also has a nickel coating, which makes it very, very slick and polished finish. Now both the Hornady American Gunner and the Federal ammunition, I had no problems. I fed 20 rounds of each, without a hitch. But the Winchester, like I said, I fired 100 rounds through, and I had 5 or 6 stem binds, and it could very well be that brass is not quite as polished as other premium ammunition. And if your gun, for whatever reason, is just on the borderline, whether it be the ejector hook, or if your ramp is not as polished as well as it could be, that could be the difference between being able to fire non-premium ammunition, or lesser quality than premium ammunition, and have it run smoothly. And that's why I chose to take the steps that I did, because when I do go to the range, I like to fire less expensive ammunition. And of course, the Winchester, the bulk Winchester ammunition is quite a bit cheaper than than the defensive loads. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, the next 100 rounds of Winchester fed through like a champ. Well, if you ever have a problem with stem bind, I hope that this video was helpful. Thanks for watching.